I believe the 49ers will go 11-6 this year. First of all, let's talk about their defense. They have a crazy good front seven. They have two stud defensive ends, Eric Armstead and Nick Bosa. D Ford's pretty good too, by the way. They have at defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw and DJ Jones. Linebackers Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. They also have a corner, Emmanuel Mosley. They gave a 2-year, $10 million deal to bring him back and keep him on their team. But I think the most impressive thing about this football team is just how good they are on both the offensive line and defensive line. Up front, on both sides of the ball, they are really, really good and in some ways even dominant. On the offensive line, they have Trent Williams at left tackle, Mike McGlinchey at right tackle, and then they made a very, very smart move. They signed Alex Mack, a center in free agency, guy who came over from Atlanta. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. And it's moves like that which make me really, really consistently impressed with the 49ers general manager, John Lynch. He does such a good job finding and replacing talent. He's every offseason making some kind of move here and there, whether it's moving up in the draft or getting this guy or filling a hole. Getting Trent Williams is really, really impressive. I really, really admire the good work that 49ers general manager John Lynch does. Now, the 49ers do not have a ton of depth at receiver. They have three guys I like, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Mohamed Sanu. But after that, it's pretty thin, and that might be one of the weaknesses of this football team is they're just not very deep at receiver. And if guys get hurt, they're in trouble and not going to be able to withstand that. They lost Kendrick Bourne in the offseason to New England, and depth at receiver, that's a problem for the 49ers. Now, the 49ers do have arguably, and who I would argue is the best tight end in all of football, George Kittle. What's great about George Kittle, most tight ends either block or catch passes. He can do both. He can block like a madman. He's incredible at catching passes and making moves, by the way, after the catch and having long runs. George Kittle is phenomenal. Running back Raheem Mostert is really, really good. Plus, they drafted a former Ohio State running back, Trey Sermon. He is underrated, and I think Trey Sermon's going to have a much bigger impact than people realize on this 49ers season. Now, the story of the year for the 49ers is their quarterback situation. Jimmy Garoppolo has been their starting quarterback for a couple of years, and he gets hurt all the time. And frankly, even when he's healthy, Jimmy G has limitations. He's a guy who I don't think is capable of helping you win a Super Bowl. So the 49ers made a big move. They traded up in the NFL draft to number 3 overall and drafted former North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance. I am a really big Trey Lance believer. Once he's ready, he's going to be a star. Now, I really, really, really trust the 49ers head coach, Kyle Shanahan. I think he's going to do a great job developing Trey Lance. And if at any point during, maybe mid-season or towards the end of the year, if at any point they elevate Trey Lance and make him their starting quarterback, he's going to do really, really well. I just cannot imagine the 49ers putting Trey Lance into a situation where he's not prepared and going to do poorly. I just think, and by the way, if Trey Lance can figure things out very, very quickly, he's capable of, if somehow he's just progresses way faster than anybody thinks, he's going to raise the potential of this team a lot. And I think if the only situation, only scenario where I see the 49ers potentially winning a Super Bowl this year is if somehow, if this kid Trey Lance can develop way faster than we think, have the same way Justin Herbert did, frankly, last year, and he's just destroying teams way more than we think, that's the only path I see for the 49ers winning a Super Bowl this year. As long as Jimmy Garoppolo is there, I've seen him enough. I know he's just limited and too limited to help them win a Super Bowl. Now, the nightmare situation here is if Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt in the first couple weeks, well before Trey Lance is ready, because I think it would be the worst thing if he was forced to go in before he was really, really ready to be a starting quarterback. Now, I will say this, regardless of who the 49ers put at quarterback, I do believe they're going to win a lot of games. Their schedule has some matchups that I go, oh boy, that's winnable, that's winnable. I'll list these 7 games. The Lions, the Eagles, the Bears, the Jaguars, the Bengals, the Falcons, and the Houston Texans. In all 7 of those games, the 49ers are going to have a significantly better roster. And Joe Burrow's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Atlanta's got a better quarterback, Matt Ryan, but the roster matters. Having good linemen win games, having a good team around you, that's going to matter. And I think the 49ers walk away from those 7 games 7-0. And that is really how I see the 49ers getting to 11 wins pretty easily. Their roster is so dominant that winning 7 games like that, you have 10 games left on your schedule, and you can win 4 of 10 games against average to pretty good teams. So I really like the likelihood of the 49ers winning 11 games this year. I don't believe the 49ers are going to win a Super Bowl. I did say the only way they possibly could is if Trey Lance is just a monster at some point later this year. But Trey Lance would have to play out of his mind for that to happen. No, I believe the 49ers are going to go 11-6. They are going to be second in the NFC West and get a playoff spot. 11-6, good year, not a Super Bowl victory, but hopefully a good year 49ers fans can feel very, very good about.